All right, mates. Gather round, especially you lot planning your first trip to Japan. You know how we always hear about those wacky, wonderful Japanese customs? Well, some things get lost in translation, and you might think you're being polite when you're actually committing a cultural faux pas. Today, we're diving headfirst into the intricate world of Japanese etiquette. From the moment your shoes grace their pristine streets to the final bow before hopping on the Shinkansen, understanding these customs isn't just polite, it's your golden ticket to unlocking a deeper appreciation for the land of the rising sun. So grab your notebooks, ditch those preconceived notions, and let's embark on a cultural crash course that'll have you navigating Japan like a seasoned expat. Right off the bat, let's address the elephant in the room, or rather, the shoes at the doorway. In Japan, wearing your outdoor shoes inside someone's home is like rocking up to a Michelin star restaurant in your pajamas, a big no-no. Think of it this way. Homes are seen as sacred spaces, and keeping the outside world, well, outside, is a sign of respect. You'll usually find a designated area by the door called a genkan, where you'll swap your outdoor shoes for some comfy slippers. And don't even think about stepping on the raised floor with your outdoor shoes. That's like walking mud all over their grandmother's prized tatami mats. Trust me, you don't want that kind of heat. So, channel your inner footwear ninja and master the art of the shoe swap. Now let's talk bowing. Forget handshakes, high fives, or awkward hugs. Bowing is the name of the game in Japan. But hold your horses. It's not as simple as bending over like you're picking up a 10-yen coin. There's a whole spectrum of bows, each with its own subtle nuance. A casual greeting between friends might involve a quick nod of the head, while a formal apology to your boss could have you practically touching your toes. The key is to pay attention to the depth and duration of the bow. The deeper and longer the bow, the more respect you're showing. And remember, maintain eye contact, well, as much as you can while staring at your shoes. It shows sincerity, even if you're internally panicking about which bow to use. Don't worry, it becomes second nature after a while. Just remember, when in doubt, bow it out. Picture this. You're crammed onto a packed commuter train during rush hour. In most parts of the world, this would be a recipe for chaos. People yelling into their phones, blasting music, the works. But in Japan, sweet, serene silence. It's like stepping into a library on wheels. The Japanese value peace and quiet, especially in shared spaces. So, while you might be tempted to call your mate and tell them about that delicious bowl of ramen you just devoured, resist the urge. Keep your phone on silent, your voice down, and your conversations to a whisper. And for the love of all that is holy, don't even think about playing music without headphones. Embrace the tranquility, soak in the Zen atmosphere, and enjoy the rare moment of peace in our otherwise hectic world. Chapter 4. Chopstick Chronicles, a How Not To Guide. Ah, chopsticks. Those deceptively simple-looking utensils that have caused many a Westerner to resort to begging for a fork. But fear not, my friends. Mastering the art of chopsticks is a rite of passage in Japan, and I'm here to guide you through it. First things first, never, and I repeat, never rub your chopsticks together. It's considered incredibly rude, like you're implying they're cheap and splintery. And whatever you do, don't stick your chopsticks upright in your rice. It's a big no-no associated with funerals and death. Instead, use your chopsticks to pick up the food and gracefully guide it to your mouth. And if you're struggling with a particularly slippery piece of sushi, don't be afraid to ask for a soy sauce dipping dish. Remember, practice makes perfect. Chapter 5. The Art of Gift Giving, More Than Just a Pretty Package. Gift giving is taken seriously in Japan. It's not just about the present itself, but the thought and effort behind it. Always wrap your gift. Presentation is everything. Be mindful of the gift itself. Avoid anything too extravagant. Opt for something thoughtful and practical. Always present and receive gifts with both hands. It shows respect and gratitude. Chapter 6. Onsen Etiquette, Navigating the Naked Truth. Ah, the onsen. Japan's answer to the spa. Imagine soaking in steaming hot springs, surrounded by breathtaking natural beauty. Bliss, right? But before you strip down, there are a few rules to avoid awkward encounters. First, you have to get naked. No swimsuits allowed. Scrub yourself squeaky clean before entering. There's a designated washing area with all the toiletries you need. Ease yourself in slowly, as the water can be quite hot. Keep your voice down, relax, and let the soothing waters melt away your worries. The British might be famous for their orderly queues, but the Japanese take it to a whole other level. Whether you're waiting for the train, ordering food, or even just trying to cross the street, you'll notice that the Japanese are masters of the queue. And for good reason. It's all about respect, fairness, and maintaining order in a society that values harmony. So when in Japan, do as the Japanese do. Join the back of the queue patiently, no matter how long it is. Don't even think about pushing in or cutting the line unless you want to face the wrath of 1,000 disapproving stares. Embrace the queue, my friends. It's a beautiful thing. In the world of Japanese business, the humble business card, or meishi, is elevated to an art form. It's not just a way of exchanging contact information, it's a symbol of your professional identity and a representation of your company. So when you're handing over your meishi, do it with the utmost respect. Present it with both hands, with the Japanese side facing up so the recipient can read it easily. When you receive a meishi, take it with both hands, give it a good look over, and treat it with the reverence it deserves. Don't just shove it in your back pocket and forget about it. And whatever you do, don't write on someone's meishi in front of them. It's considered incredibly rude. Chapter 9. Dining Do's and Don'ts. Slurping Allowed. From sushi etiquette to the art of pouring drinks, dining in Japan is a cultural experience in itself. First things first, forget everything you thought you knew about table manners. Slurping your noodles? Go for it. It's a sign of appreciation. Just don't blow your nose at the table. That's still frowned upon. When it comes to drinks, it's customary to pour for others before yourself. And if someone offers to pour for you, hold your glass up slightly as a gesture of respect. And lastly, don't be afraid to try everything. Japanese cuisine is all about fresh, seasonal ingredients, and you're bound to discover new favorites. Chapter 10. To tip or not to tip? That is the question. In many parts of the world, tipping is an integral part of the service industry. But in Japan, it's a completely different story. Tipping is not customary in Japan, and in some cases, it can even be considered rude. Why? Because good service is expected, not something you have to pay extra for. So, resist the urge to whip out your wallet and calculate a tip. Instead, simply thank the staff for their service and enjoy the fact that the price you see is the price you pay. If you're feeling particularly grateful, you can always offer a small gift, but even then, it's not expected. Chapter 11. The Art of Personal Space. Keep your distance. Japan is a densely populated country, so it's no surprise that personal space is a precious commodity. While you might be used to greeting friends with a hug or a pat on the back, in Japan, it's best to keep your hands to yourself. Physical contact is generally avoided, especially in public. Instead, stick to bowing or a simple nod of the head. And when you're navigating crowded streets or queuing up for the train, be mindful of your surroundings and try not to bump into people. Remember, a little bit of personal space goes a long way in Japan. Outra, so you think you can Japan? So there you have it, lads. A whirlwind tour of Japanese etiquette, guaranteed to save you from any awkward encounters on your next trip to the land of the rising sun. Remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about showing respect, being mindful of cultural differences, and embracing the Japanese way of life. Now, I'm off to demolish a bowl of ramen. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and share your own Japanese etiquette experiences in the comments below. Until next time, mates.